Hello and welcome to Viewpoint. I'm Vladimir Solokhub. Join me now to discuss the mortgage crisis in Russia is political analyst and foreign relations expert, Mr. Andriy Buzarov. Mr. Buzarov, welcome to Viewpoint.
Thank you.
Mr. Buzarov, let's start with the most recent financial crisis which hit the Russian economy, the US dollar mortgage crisis. What is happening there?
The really situation, frankly speaking, if you want to understand the current situation in Russia, it concerns not only mortgage system or loan system or foreign investment in Russia. That the most important that this is a direct result of economical sanctions against this country. So the Russian economy was very closely connected with European market, with Turkish, for example, market. Turkey was the fifth biggest partner, trade partner of Russia after China, after Germany, Italy, and Holland. So almost half of the trade market of this external market was European Union.
So basically the economic sanctions which were imposed on Russia because of the illegal annexation of Crimea are working? Yes,
undoubtedly, and because of the activity in Donbass. This is very important. So this is a direct result. And the bank system, all these obligations concerning mortgages, they are connected with dollar. Not with Russian national currency, ruble, with dollar. So because of the devaluation of dollar, they have problems with the fulfilling of contract obligation.
Mr. Buzarov, but did anyone anticipate the borrowers to stand up to financial institutions? Because protesting in Russia, protesting against something is not very common.
Yes, it's normal thing for them, but I'm sure that it's impossible to find a way how to handle this problem in Russia. So they have to economize, and the bank system of Russia didn't give and will not give any solution of this problem. So they just said, this is your problem. You took in dollars, you have to handle this problem yourself.
But can we see more protests? Because just last week we saw people coming out on the streets. They were blocking the roads. They were protesting in front of their financial institutions. Can we see that happening again?
Undoubtedly it will be. It's impossible to say what sphere they will represent. It, for example, it can be some foreign investments, maybe partners in Russia, maybe with some trade spheres. It's possible, but it will be protest because this tendency, this devaluation of dollars, the problems with the Russian economy will take part.
Mr. Buzarov, do you see any solution out of this crisis by the Russian government in passing the laws, in changing the legislation, which would allow the borrowers to repay the loans on more favorable terms?
With judicial or the juridic point of view, it's very difficult to make. Maybe they will use some restructuring system, so to use some period with returning the borrowers or these loans during some, I don't know, facilities maybe to make it easier. But it's impossible to resolve this problem immediately. This is a very serious problem, and it will take place in Russia.
Mr. Buzarov, another Eastern European country, Georgia, was also severely hit by the economic crisis, despite the fact that it is in no way involved together with Russia in all the mess Russia got itself into. The Georgian national currency devaluated almost by 40% in the last year. Why is this happening with Georgia?
It's a very, very interesting question and very accurate question that despite all problems which exist between Georgia, between Russia, they don't have diplomatic official relations. Despite the war that was in South Ossetia in 2008, still Russia was the biggest partner of Georgia. So Georgian economy depended and depends on Russia market. This is a problem, and they have in Georgia the same situation as we have in Ukraine. I mean, with devaluation of national currency, lari, as you said. That's why they could not find some solution of their problems because they don't have alternative for their market, external market.
So basically, because Russia was such such a big economy in the region. A lot of countries were dependent on this economy.
Yeah,
and this is true for Ukraine as well?
As well, because it was a historical prerequisites, historical consequences. You know, it was a former Soviet Union, former Soviet system. Now we have these problems, and we should, Georgia and Ukraine should find solutions for these problems. It's not a situation without exit. We have to find some exits, some solutions for this problem.
So basically, would you say that the economic sanctions which are imposed on Russia are also hitting indirectly both Georgia and Ukraine?
Not directly.
Indirectly?
No, indirectly, yes. It is. We can say that, but it's not a catastrophic situation. For example, Georgia tried to find some solutions. This year they want to use Estonian system in legislation. They should change their legislation, tax legislation. Ukraine as well should make some amendments in the constitution, in their legislation, tax legislation system. So it's the process is going on. It's normal.
What about Ukraine? What Ukraine should do to decrease this dependency on the Russian economy and on the Russian supplies? This
is a problem for Ukraine, for Georgia and for Moldova. We have the same situation. Moldova, Georgia and Ukraine. The pro-oriented majority society. We have association agreement. We have to receive free visa regime. So we have the same problems. And we have to be patient. This is the best way, because all these association agreements, free trade, the period of their use 10 years. So we should be patient. We should take the European standards, sanitary system, legislation system.
Okay, are there any concrete steps which Ukrainian government can take in the near future to decrease this dependency?
Yes, it's
what are
two
these
concrete steps. First of all, reforms of legislation in accordance with the European, and certainly it's corruption. We have to resolve the biggest problem of our society. It's corruption. It is the main obstacle for the.
I'm sorry, Mr. Buzarov, but these are like very vague objectives, yes. And the Ukrainian government has been talking yes. about this for years.
Yes.
So, and again, with all due respect, these are not concrete steps. What can the government do to decrease dependency? Maybe find alternative sources for supply of raw materials. What is the largest commodity which Ukraine is importing from Russia?
If the largest commodity, this is a metallurgical sphere. And we have to find alternative markets in South Asia, maybe in the Arab world, the country of Gulf, Persian Gulf.
Will it increase the price because of logistics?
Yes, but we can use these markets. They also have necessity in our products, in metallurgical sphere and chemical sphere. It was a very serious market, and dependence. Ukraine depends on Russian market, so we can use some other parts of the world. And we have to increase. We have to accelerate our economical diplomacy in this sphere.
But it's not always only the government. A lot of big Ukrainian metallurgical companies are privately owned, owned by the oligarchs. Do you think they are willing to cut ties with Russia? I
think that for them it's very problematic situation, because they have some good connections, some lobby in Russia.
And it's also about money.
Yes.
It's always about money.
Yes. I'm sure that now it's impossible to resolve immediately this problem, but it's a constant system, so they have to wait and to reorient their markets on other parts.
Do you think it is possible?
It should be, and the Ukrainian government should support these steps. I think this is the only alternative how to resolve our economical problems.
Again, support with legislative changes.
Yes.
Which are not being passed.
I think it will be
for months and months.
Yeah, we will hope, hopefully.
Okay, yeah, looks like some dead end here. Mr. Buzarov, many thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
We were discussing the economic crisis in Russia, Georgia, and Ukraine with political analyst and foreign relations expert, Mr. Andriy Buzarov. I'm Vladimir Solhub. Thank you for watching Viewpoint.